Hey, what's going on, beautiful Jellyfish? Tracy, and I'm doing the last video in my Dominaria set overview. I am super excited. This tends to be my last, my favorite video because I love talking about multicolored cards. I love the whole notion of sets being like double or tri-colored, and kind of forcing people to go in those specific colors, because one thing I feel like is in golden cards, multicolored cards, I feel like some people are pretty scared to commit to colors early on, so those color cards may float around the table, but they tend to be, you know, pretty powerful, I would say, and really fantastic and total bombs in the games. They're definitely something when you're drafting to pick up. But I feel like a lot of people are scared to commit early. I'm not someone who like that at all when I draft. We're mainly going to be talking about multicolor cards, though I did want to mention some lands and artifacts that I thought were particularly notable. I do think that there's a lot of really sweet stuff that I'm not even mentioning just because I don't talk about every card. That would just take way too long and the videos would be crazy ridiculously long. And then I feel like I wouldn't get, I'd get the chance to talk about every card that I wanted to, but then it's like, I'm not spending as much time on each, or the video's just really long, and I'd rather not do that, especially since these set overviews that I'm doing are last minute. Not like last minute, but it's the week before. So if you want to watch it before and you're like trying to prep for the pre-release or whatever, because you're going at midnight, I don't want to make videos like half an hour long for each color, and then that's super, who has that kind of time right before pre-release, if that makes sense. So yeah, first let's talk about lands. The first land I want to mention is Zhalfrin Void. I think this card is really cool, and what I like about it is it ETBs and it scries and it doesn't come in tapped. I think that's one of my favorite things of this card, is because I feel like a card like this would totally normally come in the battlefield tapped, which would be fine, but I think the fact that it doesn't makes this card even better. And I just love scrying. I'm just a huge fan of this. And then you just add wastes to your pool. Yeah, card's great. I like it a lot. Definitely glad that they put this land in here. Okay, then we have the memorial cards. I'm not going to talk about each one, but the one I just pointed out is the Memorial to Glory. I really like these. I don't know what, someone referred to them in the comments as action lands. I really like that. I don't know what the official name of these types of lands are, but I'm a huge fan of them because they do something, and I always have the mindset in the game where, when I'm playing limited, how does my late game look? What am I exactly doing? Am I gonna have a lot of cards in my hand and whatnot? And what I really like about this is it's a card that acts as a land and taps for mana, but at the same time, if I don't need it to tap for mana, I can do something with it. So this one in particular that I'm mentioning is you sack it and you get 2 1/1 white soldier tokens to the battlefield. The soldiers don't do anything, but I think this is decently fair for what you're paying, because you get the opportunity to have you know, to use it for mana and all that stuff and use that as a resource. But again, you're in stages of the game where nothing's really going on, you don't have a lot of action going on, and you're just looking for something to kind of do. I think these cards are really sweet. I do like all of them. This is one I just particularly noted, but I think they're all really sweet. Okay, then we have, I think these are the buddy lands. Guys, I don't know. There's so many different types of lands. I don't even know what these are all called, but I refer to these as the buddy lands. The one I just threw up is Isolated Chapel, but these are all super sweet. They are your mana fixing in the set, and definitely really cool cards to open, and there's nothing really to say about them. I like them a lot. Alright, cool. We just have a couple of artifacts to note, but one that I wanted to particularly draw attention to is Skittering Surveyor. I just feel like I am someone who is super guilty of not mana fixing enough, because a lot of times what happens is the mana fixing will be lands, and I don't it's not that I don't want to draft lands, it's that I'm but I want this removal spell over this mana fixing. But what I really like about this card is, first off, it's a common, so you're gonna see them all over the table, so there's kind of no excuse to not pick at least one of them up. Second thing I like about it, that it's an artifact, so you can literally put it in every single deck. I love that they did this, because typically I feel like green is reserved for the mana fixing. Love that this is colorless, so anyone, regardless of how many colors you're playing, you get the opportunity to run this card, which I think is sweet. ADTBs, you get anything. It does go to your hand, and you're left with a 1/2 on top of that. All around, card's really sweet. I would definitely recommend playing with at least one of these cards. Card's really great. I like it a lot. Sorry if you heard beeping. I am making rice for the first time in my new crock pot, so it was very exciting. I set a timer, and that's why that went off. Okay, Karn. I don't know if I announced this. I don't think I did, but Karn, Scion of Urza. Paul's really excited about this card, by the way. Okay, cool. So he starts out with 4 mana for 5 loyalty. I mean, hello, sweet, that's awesome. And his uptick is you reveal the top 2 cards of your library, and opponent chooses one of them. You put one in your hand, and you exile the other one with a silver counter on it. I really like this mini kind of factor fiction type of situation. What I think is really cool about this is I love the synergy with his uptick and his downtick. So you exile it, but it's potentially not exiled forever, depending, you know, if your opponent kills him or whatever. But his minus is you put a card you own with a silver counter on it from exile into your hand. This is really, really sweet. I like this ability a lot. I love the little bit of card advantage that you get, and it's cool because like you always have the potential to kind of like get that card back from exile if your opponent doesn't give it to you, which I really like. Or if it's just like a land, for example, you're like, cool, let it chill in exile, I don't even care about that, and then you're thinning through your deck in the way, which I think is sweet. And then his -2 is you create a 0/0 colorless construct with this creature gains +1/+1 for each artifact you control. This is super cool. But what I will say about this is that gotta kind of make sure that you have like artifacts out, because he's not an artifact, so he doesn't really synergize that well with himself. But to be honest, I mean, the -2 may potentially be irrelevant in some games if you don't have any artifacts on board. You could just keep doing his uptick or his minus. But Karn, I think he is really, really fantastic. Definitely excited to see how he is used, and potentially in other formats as well. So that's Karn. Okay. Finally, we get into multicolor cards. I really had to limit myself because I was like, Tracy, you can't talk about every single Magic card, even as much as I want to. So first we have Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I am so freaking excited about Teferi. Goodness, I think he's one of my favorite cards in the whole set. So he's 5 mana for 4 loyalty. You draw a card for his uptick. Honestly, you really could have just stopped there and I would have been like, A+. However, at the beginning of the next end step, you untap 2 lands. Hello! Blue mages like me are all like, yes fam, you're doing 2 things I want to. You are, first off, giving me card advantage, yes, and you're letting me untap 2 lands. Yeah, okay, I'm a fan of that. I like that. So then his -3 is you put target non-land permanent into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. I do think this ability is really sweet, and I like that. And then his casual, his -8. You get an emblem with whenever you draw a card, you just exile target permanent an opponent controls. I mean, honestly, just straight up game winning. Like, let's be real here. Teferi all around super, super amazing. I think his uptick is really strong, where I find like where a lot of the other blue planeswalkers, their uptick is kind of mediocre and their minus has something to do with drawing cards. But I love that Teferi is his uptick, because that's what I really want to be doing, is I really want to be drawing cards, and you know, untapping 2 lands seems pretty good to me. Love Teferi, I think he's great. Cool, cool. And then we have I'm Darigaaz Reincarnated. Yo, fam, this card's lit. We got Jun colors going on here, and I love when they do multicolor cards and like tricolor, pushing the envelope to just splash a 3rd color, which I think is super cool. And a card like this is so worth a splash if you are drafting or doing limited with this card. Oh, I think he's sweet. So he's 7 mana for a 7/7 flying trampler haste. Yes, please. That is everything I want in life. Absolutely love that. And then if it would die, you get to exile it instead with these egg counters on it. Egg counters. Come on, that's hysterical, guys. That's really great. Beginning of upkeep, if it's exiled with an egg counter, you get to remove it. And then if it has no egg counters, you just return it to the battlefield. Like, yeah, you gotta wait 3 turns, but like, who cares? Then you come in and you swing with this dude. So like, it's so hard to remove. Oh god, I think this card is just absolutely incredible. And the fact that it has all these super sweet abilities, flying, trample, and haste, which after it comes back from those egg counters, you just get to swing with it immediately. Card's great. Love it. Okay, this card's amazing. Muldortha, the Gravetide. Card's lit, guys. Okay, 6 mana, 6/6. During each of your turns, you may play up to 1 target card of each permanent from your graveyard. So, like, what you're telling me is that people can just kill things or whatever, and then you just get to bring them back for each permanent. So you can have your artifacts and your enchantments and your creatures, and you just get to bring them back. What? This is like an eternal witness, like every turn. Yeah, you can't get instants and sorceries, but who cares? You just get a creature back, like every turn. You just have kind of like an infinite blocker or an attacker. What on earth? This card is so dumb. Absolutely love it. Oh, card is amazing. Okay, another card I'm super stoked for. Aryel, Knight of Windgrace. She's awesome. Okay, 4 mana, 4/4 vigilance. Cool, like that already. 3 mana tap, you create a 2/2 white knight with vigilance. Okay, I really like this for a lot of things. I love cards that make tokens. I'm just a huge fan of that. And another thing I really like about this card is that it has vigilance. So like sometimes like cards like this, it's like, okay, like you have a creature, but it just kind of sits there. Like it could just be an enchantment because you're just gonna make tokens with it pretty much. But what I really like about her is that you can still swing with her and then get value out of making tokens, which I think is really sweet. And then for 1 black, you tap X knights you control to destroy target creature with power or less. What on earth? This card is so fantastic. Card synergizes so well with itself, even if you don't have a huge army of knights because your knights are on chump blocking duty or whatever. Who cares? You just pump out knights with vigilance, and you could potentially destroy something, and then you're just left with, you have her, and she's just a great body. Card is absolutely amazing. I think it's one of the best in the set. Love it. Okay, cool. Then we have Adeliz, the Cinder Wind. This card is freaking sweet. I think that this is just the card, honestly, that that Wizards kind of needed, I would say. Like the Wizard tribal kind of deck. This card's super cool. It's 3 mana 2/2 flying haste. I love that already. Like, honestly, I would have been super stoked with that at the uncommon level. Like, this other ability is just a bonus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, wizards you control get +1/+1. What I really like about too is that this card is a wizard, so even if you don't have a lot of other wizards, this card on its own, I mean, casting an instant or sorcery and just making this bigger is incredible. All around, this card is fantastic at the uncommon level. I'm really excited to see this in the set. Yeah, and don't get fooled by that last card. Even if you're not doing Wizard Tribal, this is still a great card to have on hand. Absolutely love it. Okay, then we have Arvad the Cursed. This guy is super cool. So it's a 5 mana for a 3/3 Death Touch Lifelinger. Like, alright, we have like mini Vampire Nighthawk. We've got like Vampire Nighthawk's like long lost cousin over here. Sweet. And then other legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. This card's really good. Even if you, again, don't have that many legendary creatures, I would not be fooled. If you do, like, oh my god, this card, you know, going to its fullest. But goodness, still on its own, having a Death Touch Lifelinker for a 3/3 is really, really strong. I like this card a lot. I think it's very strong. Okay, then we have Raff, Capashen, Ship's Mage. This guy is super cool. It's 4 mana 3/3 Flash Flyer. Hello, yeah, love it. And then you may cast historic spells as though they had flash. I'm just a huge fan of ambush vipering things. Like, that's one of my favorite things, I think, to do. Someone blows up the board or like whatever it is that they're doing, and you're just like, okay, cool, like, I know you just killed my thing, but, like, at the end of my turn, I'm going to flash this in, and then I'm going to flash in, you know, other legendaries or artifacts or sagas. Like, come on. This card's all around incredible, and even if you aren't using it for the flash ability, it's a 4 mana 3/3 flying flash. Come on, that's an incredible body. This is such a sweet uncommon. I really enjoy this card. Huh. Okay, this guy. Guy's cool. Slimefoot the Stowaway. Ha, guy's cool. Okay, 3 mana 2/3. Whenever a sapling you control dies, this guy deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain a life. I think that's like really cool, and I like that ability a lot. And then for 4 mana, you just make a Saproling. Ah, love cards like this that synergize with themselves, that you don't necessarily need to run like a Saproling tribal deck. But like, if you have this guy, you're like, sweet, I pump out tokens. And again, you're paying kind of a lot of mana for that, but like, who cares? You make a token, it goes on chump block duty, you know, you block their super big thing. You don't even care, because whenever a thing dies, you just get to poke them and you get to gain life. All around, this card is really solid, very sweet uncommon. I like it. And the last card, I am so excited about this card. We have Shanna, Sisay's Legacy. I am really enamored by this card. I think it's incredible. So pretty much you play her, and if you don't have any other creatures, fear not, she's a 1/1. She has hexproof, which is really cool. She's 2 mana, and so like I said, even if you don't have other creatures, which to be honest is decently unlikely, I mean, maybe if it's like turn 2 and you play her, I mean, maybe. So she can't be targeted, and she just gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. This card is so sweet. I think if you're doing, really, I think this could be in like any kind of deck in Limited, I would say, really. Like, you know, yes, if you have like a lot of tokens, you are over the moon, like, yes, sweet, this is super cool. But to be honest, even if she's just a 1/1 at the start and then gets bigger later on, you're pretty happy about that. And she's got hexproof, so she's really hard to remove. Overall, I absolutely love this card, and I think we're ending off on a really good note because she's great. So that is it, guys. That is it for this Dominaria little set overview. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I never really kind of know the feedback about these videos, so if you guys like them, let me know if I should like keep doing them in the future for sets. Like I said, they just take a lot of time in editing, so I can't always promise to do this for every set. It's just not realistically possible. But I just had, you know, some time and spent my whole weekend basically filming these videos and editing them for you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you are going to the set, if you're going to the pre-release, I wish you the best of luck, and I will see you guys next video on Tuesday for my new video.